So I started an organization back in 1993 in New York City that served the Arab immigrant population, particularly new immigrants, and tried to help them to understand the system, understand how to succeed in American society, to understand the laws of the country. That was a very, very important piece because nobody was there really to introduce them and to help them understand. So they were making a lot of mistakes, but they didn't know, they didn't understand. And they didn't know, what was out there, what were the opportunities, how to get them, how to access them. And so we started this program or the agency in 1993. We started providing services in 1994. We were succeeding and doing quite well in terms of serving this population, and found really that a lot of the issues were internal family issues. A lot was going on in the families because the immigration experience was so traumatic in many ways. And children were having problems with their parents, husbands were having trouble with their wives, there were gender issues, there was abuse, there were children running away from home, there were just generational issues, there was everything you could imagine that people didn't want to talk about because these are taboo. This is taboo. You don't talk about your family issues. You don't talk about your family problems outside. Whatever is going on inside stays inside. You do not air dirty laundry. So it was quite an experience for these families who were getting in trouble in the system to actually accept anyone coming in from outside and trying to help them with their family issues. But they were really, there was a lot of abuse, child abuse, domestic violence, issues that had to be addressed. And we had to admit that these were going on in our families. Because until we resolved some of those issues, these families were never going to succeed. They were never going to be strengthened. And their children, in particular, were having serious issues. They were not doing well in school. Some were failing. Some were dropping out. There was acting out behavior. There was a lot of mental health issues, depression. All of this had never been addressed. So how were these families really going to come into a new country, not understanding the system, not knowing what was out there, what were the opportunities available to them, and succeed? It was almost like you're asking them to do for the impossible. And the problem was that there really was no policy or services or a system in place that says, okay, new immigrants are coming into the country. What are we going to do? How are we going to help them? How are we going to provide the services that are going to help them integrate and succeed and advance and find the opportunities that they came for? But we kept complaining about immigrants not doing this, not doing that, not taking over, taking our jobs away, etc. But we were not there to provide the services. We were not there to help them succeed. So for me, the most important thing was to say, well, we're the host society. We are bringing immigrants into the country because we need them for whatever reason. They're coming in because they need us, because they want to have better lives. But it is a two-way street. It really does, it is important that the two come together, that immigrants have to make certain changes in order to be part of this society, but we also have to help them get there. We cannot just complain about it and do nothing about it. We have to provide the services. We have to look at what is needed. Where do we start? How do we help these families? What services do we have in place? What policies do we have in place? And we have to address it. Traditionally, again, pre-9/11, it was not a problem because people came in and they somehow, nobody really bothered to find out whether they overstayed or didn't overstay, or whether they're documented or not, or undocumented, or there were no deportations. Well, maybe there were some, but it wasn't to the extent after 9/11.